Dubai, one of the world's most glittering cities.
Dubai likes to present itself as the playground of the region, the place where you can come and go to the beach and let loose.
Its ruler, Sheikh Mohammed, is one of the richest heads of state in the world.
Here's Sheikh Mohammed speaking with Her Majesty the Queen.
3 years ago, the Sheikh's 32-year-old daughter, Latifa, tried to escape. But she was captured.
Latifa was screaming and kicking. She was saying, "Shoot me here rather than take me back to UAE." That's the last time I've seen my friend.
Now, Panorama can reveal that a year after she disappeared, Latifa began recording video messages.
I'm a hostage. I'm not free. I'm enslaved. I'm imprisoned in this jail, you know, like my life is not in my hands.
This is the story of what happened to Latifa and the lies told to the world.
I've been by myself, solitary confinement, no trial, no charge, nothing.
Latifa first contacted me end of 2010. She sent me an email saying, I need a female capoeira instructor to take classes privately. And then I realized who she was.
Tina Yauhiainen's new friend was no ordinary Emirati. Princess Latifa is one of the 25 children of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai and vice president of the United Arab Emirates.
Sheikh Mohammed tries to present himself as the enlightened, benevolent monarch. And indeed, to his credit, he has built a largely successful city. It is a place that attracts tourists. It attracts businesses where you can come and go to the beach and let loose. But behind that modern facade, there is no tolerance of dissent. There is an extremely old-fashioned view of particularly women.
Hello, my name is Latifa Al Maktoum. I was born on December 5, 1980.
In February 2018, Latifa recorded a video about her life and her plans to leave.
So I'm not allowed to drive. I'm not allowed to travel or leave Dubai at all. I can't. I haven't left the country since 2000. I've been asking a lot just to go traveling, to study, to do anything normal. They don't let me. That's my life, basically. It's very restricted. I need to leave.
Latifa didn't have access to her passport, so leaving Dubai was not going to be straightforward. She asked Tina to help.
I didn't hesitate. I would say, yes, of course. That would be a great adventure for both of us live together. It's only later on that I realized that it's going to be a very risky operation to get her out.
By February 2018, the escape plan was ready.
I'm feeling positive about the future. I don't know how I'll feel just waking up in the morning and thinking, I can do whatever I want today. I can go wherever I want. I have all the choices in the world like anyone does. That'll be such a new, different feeling. That'll be amazing. I'm really looking forward to that.
Latifa and Tina managed to get out of Dubai and board a yacht. The plan was to cross the Indian Ocean, then fly to the United States, where she would try to claim political asylum. But as they neared India, the escape went horribly wrong.
Myself and Latifa, we felt tired. So around 10 o'clock in the evening, we decided to go down to our cabin to get some sleep. We started hearing noises from the upper deck, which sounded like gunshots. Basically, the boat was taken over by Indian special forces. Latif was saying, oh my God, they're here. She continued screaming and kicking and trying to get away. And that's the last time I've seen my friend.
In London, Tina began telling the world what had happened.
I was taken to the front deck where I saw Latifa. She was lying on the floor and her hands were tied behind her back. And she was simply repeating, I'm seeking for political asylum, but they were not listening to her. So she was taken away, kicking and screaming.
Tina joined forces with David Haig, who himself had been imprisoned in Dubai. They formed a campaign group and took Latifa's case to the United Nations.
They took the case, which we're very happy with, and since essentially April 2018, they've been investigating. We filed all the evidence, witness statements of Tina, and everybody was there and saw what had happened. Bits of that get transmitted to the UAE, and they're supposed to respond.
Meanwhile, Sheikh Mohammed continued with his social engagements. 3 months after the kidnap, he was at the races with another of his daughters.
One of the remarkable things about this whole episode with Latifa's effort to escape is that, when she was initially kidnapped back, Sheikh Mohammed continued to lead a normal life. Somehow grabbing his daughter on the Indian Ocean and disappearing her wasn't enough to make him untouchable. And he proceeded to be welcomed by people around the world.
Here's Sheikh Mohammed speaking with Her Majesty the Queen.
Sheikh Mohammed has won the Derby for Godolphin. Sheikh Mohammed, sir, a great year for the boys in blue.
That's right, that's good. And my daughter today here, and she brought the luck.
There he is, smiling away, not a care in the world. He can turn up with another daughter like nothing is happening, meet the Queen, and no questions asked. That is extraordinary.
His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum is on the podium.
That, in a sense, speaks to the blindness in the face of Gulf monarchy, our unwillingness to look too closely to what's going on, this, I think, unjustified deference to these social restrictions that exist in Dubai and other parts of the region.
9 months after her disappearance, the UAE finally responded to the UN. It issued photos of Latifa with a former UN Human Rights Commissioner, Mary Robinson.
I think you have to bear in mind that this is a troubled young woman who has a serious medical situation. This is a family matter now, and that she is in the care and loving care of her family.
I was visiting my family in Finland when I remember getting a message.
It was now a year since Tina had last heard from Latifa after she was dragged off the boat. Then, a stranger got in touch, claiming to have a message from her.
I understand that, Latifa was very, very scared and nervous about making this contact. So there were security questions, making 100% sure that it was me, such as me confirming her nickname, capoeira nickname, and what she gave me as a birthday gift.
Tina called me and said, she'd had contact from someone and she thinks it's Latifa. someone passed a message on, and of course I start with, no, it can't be true, it's a trap. But Tina got a little bit cross with me, and she was like, I know my friend. I know it's her.
After some time, we decided it's time to take the next step, and we managed to get a phone to Latifa.
Now, Tina was in direct contact with Latifa.
I managed to get in contact with David Haig and Tina Yohiainen, and it was very dangerous and it took a long time. I'm doing this video from a bathroom because it's the only room with the door I can lock, and the door to my room I put, because I can't lock the door to my room, there's no key.
When I first time heard her voice, I was crying. It was just me completely bursting into tears. I couldn't help it.
What did she say to you?
She said that she was missing me, and she was so happy to hear my voice. It was very, very emotional.
Tina tracked down Latifa's first cousin, Marcus, who had known Latifa as a child and was now living in the UK. She put the two of them in touch.
Finding each other was just beautiful. I was given the phone, and I think I cried. I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak. Just knowing that she's alive, knowing that she's survived everything, so much to catch up on, so much to find out about each other, so much to say.
I was, of course, worried that she would get caught with the phone, but she wanted me to know in detail what had happened to her.
Latifa started recording video messages documenting her story.
Today is April 2019, and the major news around the world is that I need to say it for authentication purposes, so you know that the video that I'm doing is made recently. So I'm in a villa. I'm a hostage, and this villa has been converted into a jail. All the windows are barred shut. I can't open any window. There's 5 policemen outside and 2 policewomen inside the house. And I can't even go outside to get any fresh air.
Latifa was being guarded by around 30 police, working on rotation both inside and outside the villa. She has sketched what she can see. Panorama has independently verified the details of where Latifa was held. It's near the Dubai Canal, just meters from the beach.
We shouldn't pretend that just because it's a villa that everything is fine. You know, this woman's imprisoned and has no permitted contact with the world. You can imagine that this is psychologically devastating. It's basically solitary confinement except for her jailers. Nobody should be subjected to that. Solitary confinement of that sort is broadly considered to be a form of torture as it becomes prolonged the way this has been right now.
She's so pale. She hasn't seen daylight, sunlight for months. She can basically move just from her room to the kitchen and back. She was wearing the same t-shirt she had on the boat, so she was not allowed new clothes.
She was not getting the medical care, or she didn't have a toothbrush.
For how long did she not have a toothbrush?
Yes.
Today is April 2019. The major international news is I don't know when I'll be released and what the conditions will be like when I'm released. Every day I am worried about my safety and my life. Don't really know if I'm going to survive the situation. The police threatened me that I'll be imprisoned my whole life and I'll never see the sun again. So I'm not safe here.
Now, for the first time, Latifa can reveal what happened.
On this small boat, it was, I don't know how many commandos, maybe 12, 15, and the 2 Emirati, like lieutenant sergeants I was fighting. And this guy came with a small pouch, like a camouflage pouch, and he took out the needle and he injected me in my arm, and I was like fighting. I was saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And I just assumed it was tranquilizers, but it didn't take any effect on me. But then I was like, okay, assess your situation. Your hands are tied. You have 2 guys sitting on you. You're on the bottom of a, like a small boat. So just calm down and like, there's no fighting at this point. So I just calmed down.
Latifa says she was transferred to an Indian military ship.
The commandos carried me through this corridor and to a big room. And there was in front of me like maybe 4 or 5 generals. So I'm repeating to them, my name is Latifa al-Maktoum. I don't want to go to Dubai. I want to get asylum. I was in international waters. You should let me go. Blah, blah, blah. Kept going. I did not stop. I kept going. I see a private jet in front of me. At that point, I said no. Like, I'm not going to voluntarily go.
She says she was then manhandled by an Emirati commando.
He grabs me and he lifts me up, and I'm like kicking and fighting, and he's much bigger than me. So I see that his sleeve is rolled up and his arm is exposed. So I said, okay, you have 1 shot. So I just bite him as hard as I can and shake my head. And he screamed. The same guy tranquilized me again. They put me on a stretcher, and as they were carrying me up the steps of the private jet is when I passed out. Like, I lost consciousness. All I remember was the rocking and seeing the stairs, and then I just passed out. When I woke up, the private jet had already landed in Dubai. I just felt really sad at that point. Like, I felt everything I was, working on for so many years to get my freedom was gone. I've been here ever since. I've been by myself, solitary confinement, no access to medical help, no trial, no charge, nothing.
Nine months after Latifa was returned to Dubai, the UAE was facing intense pressure. The UN was asking for proof that Latifa was alive, or they'd go public with concerns she might have died. The Sheikh's wife, Ḥaya, Latifa's stepmother, now became involved.
She's beautiful, she's sophisticated, she was an Olympian. She was a goodwill ambassador at the United Nations. She spoke at many, many conferences.
Ḥaya paid Latifa a visit.
So yeah, on December 6th is when Ḥaya came. She said to me, I found you, like she didn't know where I was. She told me on December 14, would I join her the next day for lunch at her house? And she said to me it would be like a test to see how you will react around people after being in prison for so long. And if you act well, you react well, you're going to be out in a few days. Ḥaya picked me up, we went to her house, and then she said, oh, I have invited some of my friends as well. Like, I hope you don't mind. No, I don't mind.
Those friends included Mary Robinson, a former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and former President of Ireland. Until now, she has not revealed the full story.
Ḥaya began to explain that Latifa had quite a serious bipolar problem. She was worried that there was a stigma for people who were bipolar in the UAE.
Both Ḥaya and Mary Robinson were spun an elaborate and detailed lie. Latifa wasn't bipolar. but they were presented with details of her medical condition.
They were saying to me, very kind of, in a way that was very convincing, we don't want Latifa to go through any further trauma. She's been through enough trauma. We don't want her to go public. What are we going to do?
Aya introduced Mary, never said that she was the former UN head of human rights, never. If I knew that, of course, like I would have said everything, but no, she never told me that. The topics that we discussed during that lunch were sports, veganism, the environment, nothing outside from that. And Mary kept talking about her book as well. Like, we never discussed me, we never discussed my case.
Do you regret not asking her more directly about her situation?
I thought about it, and I suppose I'm not very familiar with people who are bipolar. I didn't know how to address somebody who was bipolar about their trauma, etc. I decided to give a pass on that. So, you know, I wanted to talk to her doctors, but I really didn't actually want to talk to her and increase the trauma over a nice lunch.
Like, I knew something was going on. Yeah, we were eating and everything. And then Heya, she said to me, "Oh, this is such a nice lunch. I want to remember it. Will you all come into the living room to take a picture?" And I kept saying to her, I don't really want to. Like, I was being polite. I wasn't saying in front of them, "Hey, I'm a hostage." I was sitting between her and Mary, and I looked at the camera and my face was like, you know, like this, not smiling or anything. It was all a setup. It was like they tricked me.
I was aware the photograph was being taken because it was going to be part of how we would proof life, how we would prove that she was alive. I then said to them, look, I can write to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, and attach those photographs as proof of life. So I wasn't against the photograph. It was to be a private photograph.
But 9 days later, the UAE Foreign Ministry released the photos to the world.
And I was particularly tricked when the photographs went public, horribly tricked. I mean, that was a total surprise. I was absolutely stunned.
A former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights had been tricked. Alone in the villa by the beach, nothing changed for Latifa.
Then Heya dropped me off here, and I felt so bad, like going out from jail for a few hours and then coming back to this jailhouse. It was such a bad feeling.
I was misled initially by my good friend, Princess Heya, because she was misled. And then relatively shortly afterwards, I got a call from Heya saying, "Mary, I am in London. I have just come to London with my 2 children. I have come in the clothes we were in because I am so fearful. We were wrong. I have found out a lot."
Well, the wife of Dubai's billionaire ruler has reportedly fled to London with her 2 children.
She's currently in hiding in London, allegedly in fear for her life.
Today is July 2019, and the major international news is that my stepmother is getting a divorce.
Now, one of the Sheikh's wives had escaped, together with their 2 young children. But once again, it was business as usual for the Sheikh. He hosted prominent female leaders at a global women's forum.
Today, we are here to celebrate all that women are achieving in economies throughout North Africa and the Middle East. We are incredibly grateful to be joined by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. Your presence here means so much.
Meanwhile, the Sheikh was working to have his 2 children returned to Dubai. He pursued Heya through the English courts. Now his suitability as a father was scrutinized in court, including his treatment of his other children.
extraordinary and damning allegations of abduction and intimidation.
The judge ruled that the sheikh had abducted and imprisoned 𝗃𝗏 and had not been open and honest with the court.
It was a big breakthrough for all of us. I thought that would have been a great evidence for the UN to make a public statement, to pressurize the UAE more, or something that could have quickly led to her release. But 𝗃𝗏 was still held a prisoner. It's almost like, what do we need to get her free? It's sad. It's very, very sad.
From her prison, 𝗃𝗏 followed the news, hoping her situation would change. The damning judgment didn't make any difference at all.
I'm really reaching a point now where I'm just getting so tired of everything. It's like a circus. I don't want to be a hostage in this jail villa. I just want to be free. I don't know what they're planning to do with me. I really don't know. So the situation is getting more desperate every day, and I'm just really, really tired of this now.
Over many months, 𝗃𝗏 recorded many videos and exchanged messages daily on her secret phone with Tina, David, and Marcus.
The phone meant a lot. It was a lifeline, and every day was a struggle for her. And you could hear that in her voice. I know she was tired. I know her health was not the best.
If you hadn't have heard from 𝗃𝗏 for a period of time, you would worry. So you were always kind of living on tenterhooks. Then one day we'd pass some messages, and then it's not been received.
Initially, I thought that maybe she had problems with her phone. There was a problem with the charger, or perhaps the internet.
We realized something has happened. She'd gone. And she was not coming back.
The messages were no longer delivered. For several months, there has been no contact with 𝗃𝗏.
I was hoping that she would just reappear. I didn't want to believe it, but finally that I did. I felt that there were so many things that I should have said. There were so many things that left me with sadness. Like, what if I don't get to speak to her again? We are extremely worried about her well-being. If we assume that she was caught with the phone, her conditions now are probably a lot worse.
Family is supposed to be there to support you, to help you, to love you, to protect you, not to lock you up. For her, it was, I don't want to hurt anybody in my family. I'm not against my family. I don't want to be involved in the politics. I want to be out of the politics. She wanted a quiet, peaceful life, and that was really important to her.
Since a lot of time has passed, we've taken the decision to release some of this evidence. We haven't taken this decision lightly. There's been some sleepless nights thinking about this, but it's time to do something. I feel that she would want us to fight for her and not give up.
I think it should be investigated.
This is a situation that is utterly intolerable. And, any decent father would end it and let his daughter go.
For me, it's simple. It's like, am I free or am I not free? I'm not free. So, okay, the world is going to know that I'm not free. anybody who cares is going to know that I'm not free, and I'm not going to go along with their propaganda. It's just how I am.